it's a lot of things, but he wrote a book that he gave me that I read. I thought it was important to share. He'll get to explain it to you in more details and then give you guys the tools and the ways in which you guys can use it. Why you say that? There's other seats from the other. You can take. There's a seat right here. You can take it. And then you guys can take some of the things that he's saying to you, and then eventually, if you want to keep working with him and stuff like that, we'll also give you, we'll give you the information how to do that, etc., etc. Okay. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce you guys to Devin Smith.
Appreciate you, Coach. What's going on, fellas? How we doing today? Good. We awake? Love to hear it. Love to hear it. So yeah, my name is Daniel. I'm new to this area, so I just recently moved down to the area from Rochester, New York. And actually, I got a chance to meet Coach H. I was at the St. James working out, and I met Coach and I said, "Hey, I wrote a book. I like to talk to student athletes. You got some kids I could talk to," and so here we are. So before I kind of get into what I'm talking about, I want to learn a bit about you guys. So I'm not going to go like around the room just because we don't have time. But if you guys want to just shout some stuff out to me, like, all right, so right now, favorite basketball team. What we got? Wizards. Ooh, ouch. I'm sorry. Golden State. Okay. They had their time. I think it's over for them. Philly. Okay. Bandwagon. Okay. Good. So let's see. Favorite Netflix series right now. Breaking Bad. Okay. Brooklyn Nine. That's a good. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Blacklist. Okay. All right. Cool. Favorite soccer club. Barcelona, Liverpool. What else? Okay. Real Madrid. Okay. Favorite football player right now. Who's your favorite player right now? Messi. Who? Olise. Who's he play for? Who's he play for? Okay. All right. Cool. Messi. What else we got over here? What we got? Favorite football player? Messi. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So a little bit about me is, like I said, I'm from Rochester. I'm a father. I got 3 kids. I got a wife, married 16 years. I brought my oldest daughter. She's hanging out with me today. She is my audio-visual team. So give it up for Maya. I've been playing sports my whole life. I love sports. I went through different seasons of sports. So I had football was my earliest season. I love football. It's all about football. Then I had a soccer season in middle school. I played soccer for a bit. I had fun. I played a little bit of goalie, a little bit of forward. But ultimately, basketball became my thing. So I play to this day. I'm a men's league all-star. Like if I go to a men's league, I'm dropping at least 15 to 20 every game. You know what I mean? Shoot. I don't pass the ball. And that's just how I'm 38 years old, right? You know what I mean? How much time do I really have left to play? So should I pass the ball? No, I'm there to shoot. All right, this is what I'm here for. All right, so we're gonna jump into it. First thing I wanna do is I wanna do a little listening exercise. I wanna do this because most people are horrible listeners, okay? And so I wanna prove that point because I really want you guys to lock in, because I really think that if you tap in to what I'm sharing today, that it is going to completely transform the way you see sports from this point out. So that's my promise to you, right? So every brand, like Nike, they have a brand promise. So my brand promise is that from this point on, you will never look at soccer the same ever again. Is that cool? All right. So here goes the listening exercise. It's super simple, right? I'm going to tell you a story. And after I tell you a story, it's a really short story, I'm going to ask you a question. Now, very important. If you know the answer to the question, do not shout the answer out loud. Do not say it. What are you not supposed to do? Don't say the answer. If you know the answer, you're just going to put a thumbs up. Okay? If you do not know the answer, don't do anything. Matter of fact, if you don't know the answer, give me a thumbs down. So if you know the answer, thumbs up. If you don't know the answer, thumbs down. Okay? And it's a listening exercise, so you're going to want to pay very close attention. Everybody ready? All right, cool. Here goes the story. I'm going to start now. All right, so you're driving a bus, and at the first stop, you pick up 5 kids. The second stop, you pick up 3 kids. And on the third stop, you drop off 4 kids. Okay, you ready for the question? What is the bus driver's name? If you know the answer, thumbs up. If you don't know it, thumbs down. Okay, so I see a mixed room. See a lot of thumbs down. See some thumbs up. Okay. All right. So the people with the thumbs up, they seem pretty confident. All right. People with the thumbs down, I'm going to give you the story one more time. Let's see if you can catch it. All right. So you ready? Here we go. You're driving a bus. Oh, see? So it's very simple, but the point is that most people don't really listen to details, right? So I wanted to just turn your listening up a little bit so that way you can get the most out of what I'm going to share today. Is that cool? Yeah. All right, cool. So, 5 years ago, I was about 6 years ago now, I really had this thought of, if we taught young people how to communicate the way we train them for sports, their lives would be vastly different very quickly. Vastly different in how they earn, vastly different in how they enjoy life, their quality of life, and vastly different on the opportunities that they get. Okay, so I kind of started with that. So I started a coaching business, and it was all about high impact communication skills, right? And the focus was really on how to have a better life, like as soon as possible, and how to make things happen, right? Because communication is what makes things happen. It makes sense, right? So think about it, and it was put in soccer terms, right? So somebody gets a red card. When people get a red card, what happens to that player? They get ejected, right? They got to leave, right? So what happens to the team? The other team, what do they have to do now? They got to play a man down, right? So now, let's say that the player that gets ejected is the best defensive player on the team, right? So now, what is who in here is a captain? Captain. The best defensive player on the team gets ejected. What are you now communicating to the team?
What am I not communicating?
Now, what are you now communicating to the team?
Oh, I guess we need more people in defense?
No. Their best defensive player.
More people in attack.
Boom, 100%. But if you don't communicate that, and you don't communicate it well or properly, what does it mean? It's meaningless, right? Yeah. Like you literally could have the opportunity to go crazy, but if you're not doing the things and communicating what you need to communicate to get everybody to push up so you can take advantage of that, then you might as well not have the advantage, right? So ultimately, what is the key? Communication, right? 100%. So I started this coaching business, and I was like, I really want to talk to athletes. I feel like I have a message for athletes. So I created this book because, being a lifelong athlete, one of the things that I realized probably in my later 20s is that sports really can make things happen for you in a way that I wasn't aware of when I was your age. Because when I was your age, I was just playing. I was just out there. I was still delusional. And what I mean by that, I was 18, 19, I still thought there was a way I could get to the NBA. And so for those who have dreams of professional sports, you're not delusional. But as athletes, don't we all have to be a little delusional? Does that make sense? You got to be delusional to be on this team. You have to believe that you're better than all the kids that tried out for this team to play on this team. So there's a level of delusional that is normal for an athlete. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I'm not calling you delusional because to a degree, I'm still delusional. I play my men's league like there's an NBA scout in the audience, and they're going to be like, hey, we need a shooter. Now, is that going to happen? No, it's not happening, but it's just how we are as athletes. And when you're 38, you will know exactly what I mean, all right? But in any case, the first thing I want to start with, right, kind of getting into my talk now, is being intentional, right? So when you're in environments like this, then as you guys travel around all over the country playing sports, whether it's through this club or other clubs, when you go on and play to college, because one thing I know about this type of environment, almost everybody here is going to play college at the next level, right? Does that make sense? Everybody going to play, whether it's Division 2, 3, or whatever, or you go to a pro academy, you're going to go next level, right? One of my kids that I worked with early on in my coaching business, his name's Roman, and he played for RNY FC. Your name, Roman? His name Roman. Oh, my guy, man. It's funny. He got blonde tips like you too. I'm gonna show you a picture. You actually kind of favor him. Doesn't he kind of look like Roman? That's kind of crazy. And he is Roman. So, but anyway, Roman, he played for RNYFC. So that's the MLS next team from where I'm from, back in Rochester. And he currently plays at Brown University. So he's on a second year playing there. And he went to a soccer academy in Valencia, Spain for a year too. So he did that. And so he's doing all the things. But anyway, be intentional, right? Because you play sports, you come across and you engage with far more people than the average 18 or 19-year-old, because your sport puts you in different environments, right? So like if you guys didn't play sports, I would never meet you. There's no way you would have met me today. If you didn't play sports, you would not know Coach H. Does that make sense? If you didn't play sports, you probably wouldn't know each other, because sports, it's the glue. It's bringing you together. So now that you're together, now that you're in these spaces, you want to be intentional to take as much advantage of the space as you can possibly do, right? So it's just like, again, going back to me, I play basketball and 38 years old, but if I'm like playing in the game and I realize I keep missing shots, then I'm gonna start telling myself, oh, make sure that you're following through, Dan. Make sure that you're bending your knees on your jump shot. Make sure that you're jumping. Make sure now I got to be intentional because I'm missing, right? So now I got to kind of think, okay, let's go back to the basics. And it's the same thing with soccer, right? Like if your passes are a little too bouncy and they're not being received the right way, right? Now you're going to make sure, hey, I got to keep this pass on the ground, right? All the things. So everything that I'm going to share as we move on, I want you to hear it from a lens. I want you to think, how can I be intentional to implement everything that's being shared? I'm also recording this on YouTube Live, so if you want to go back and look at it, you can. And also, I know you guys don't have phones. Oh, you do have phones. They let you have them. Feel free to follow me on IG. I'm Best Bet Dan, and you could get the book. It's in my link tree. You can check it out. It's a really easy book to read. Matter of fact, here, this is the book. I'm bad at this, but you guys can pass it around, take a look at it. All right. So the first principle from the book, right? So I started with being intentional. That's kind of like to set the table. The first thing I want you guys to start to realize and start to understand is what you have access to because you play a sport, right? Access is the key word. Because you play a sport, you're going to be able to access people that you would never have access to outside of the sport. That's car rides, right? How many car rides have you been on to go play at a tournament and you rode with another family or friends of a family? You got a lot of car rides, right? What about when you're at these tournaments, right? You go to a tournament, you get to the tournament early, you get there early and you're at the field. There's all types of people from all over the country, potentially all over the world, that are now at this field that you now have access to, right? So here's what's crazy as student athletes, right? And here's just to understand in terms of your positioning as a young person. Right now, anybody will listen to you if you approach them because you are, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but you're a child, right? You're a minor, you're a young person. And so now if I'm an adult and let's say I'm at an event for one of my kids and Roman comes up and he just strikes up a conversation with me, I'm 10 out of 10 gonna not only listen to him, but I'm gonna try to help him as much as I can just off the strength that he's a young person. You guys understand that, right? So now I want you to think about this, right? You have access to everybody in these circles. So it's funny, when I was coaching Roman, he took this principle and he ran with it. So one of the guys on his team was a kid named Daniel. This kid, Daniel, his dad, they own a salt mine in Western New York, and his family owns a whole bunch of real estate. So he goes to Dan, he says, hey, Dan, I know your dad's pretty successful. I really want to connect with your dad just to learn more about what he's doing in business, so on and so forth. And now here's the thing, right? How many people think that Daniel said, nah, you can't talk to my dad? How many people think he said that? He didn't say that. You know what Daniel said? He said, absolutely. Like, that's easy. That's a layup. It's my dad, of course, right? So boom, he made the connection. They had some meetings, and it's funny. He gave him information. Roman, he was on his way to flipping his first house before he graduated from high school. because of the information that he got from Daniel's father, a guy named John. Only reason why I didn't is because interest rates went through the roof and it just didn't make sense to do it at the time. But the point is that he understood the what that he had, the access, right? So when you're traveling, you're going to these games, right? And you're waiting for your time to play. And more than likely, what are you guys doing when you're waiting to play? Before you're starting to warm up? Before warm-up time, you're at the field. What are you guys doing? Watching, maybe on your phone, maybe talking to your friends, maybe just kind of spaced out or whatever. But imagine if you made it a point to on every trip, you're going to strike up a conversation with 1 to 3 parents. Just see who's there. See who you have access to. Because here's the reality of the travel sports world. You guys ready for it? The reality of the travel sports world is you have access to some of the top people in all their professions and fields. Because travel sports is, for the most part, a pay-to-play industry now. So people who own companies, people who are high-level executives, people who are, controlling school districts, people who have access to hiring, people who have access to all types of resources, their kids are playing on these teams. They're your teammates. They're your opponents. Does that make sense? So now, instead of just kind of letting this time fly, because here's the reality of it, right? If you're at a tournament in Utah, were you guys at the tournament in Utah? Did you guys do that? Okay. So you're at a tournament in Utah, right? And let's say there's a parent there, it's their kids last year playing, and they own a multi-billion-dollar company. You walk right by them. You don't have the wherewithal. You don't understand what you have access to. You just walk right by them. 10 out of 10, you'll never have a chance to meet that person ever again. You see how small the world is when you start to pay attention to what's around you and you have access to these people. You have access. You don't have to be an expert conversationalist either. It's very practical. You can simply just say, hello, my name is such and such. Who are you? That's simple. What's your name?
Xavier.
Xavier, I want you to try it. Say, hello, my name is Xavier. Who are you?
No, try it, Theo.
Try it.
Hello, my name is Xavier. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Daniel, man. Nice to meet you.
It's you.
What team you play for?
St. James.
St. James? Okay, where are they from?
Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia? Okay, that's what's up. And what year are you? Or kind of when are you going to college?
I'm going to be a senior this year.
Okay, cool. Good stuff. You know what you want to study once you go to college?
Yeah, probably like international relations.
Okay, cool. I got a buddy that kind of works with international. You see how that works? See how simple that is? It's very simple. Guess what? There are no NPCs in real life. Y'all catch that? There's nobody that if you just walk up to them, right, they just will glitch and not respond to you because they weren't programmed to be a part of the game, right? Every single person is a playable person. Every single person has backstory. Every single person has some sort of lore that could connect you to where you're going in your life. And you literally have the control over it by simply making an introduction. How many people are ambitious and hungry? You want to do something big with your life? Anybody? A couple people? Okay. The key to that is relationships. And right now in these environments, you have access to some really, really awesome people, but you just got to pick your head up. Pull your head out of your phone long enough to realize who you're around. When you're at tournaments, when you're out, I would encourage you guys to not even talk to one another. Because why? I'm gonna see Roman all the time. Why would I talk to Roman when I'm around 1,000 people I'll never see again? I already got Roman's phone number. I can talk to Roman whenever. But you know what? There's this lawyer over here who he owns a firm with practices in 14 different cities, and I'm interested in law. I got to start having some conversations. You guys may have already heard this phrase before. It's not what you know, but who you know. That's the realest thing ever. That is the realest thing ever. My daughter and I were having a conversation on the way here. She wants to get into like sports training medicine. So like what Christian does, like when y'all like turn your ankles and stuff and helping athletes kind of get rehabbed and physical therapy and all that. That's what she wants to do. Well, guess what? My little cousin He just got, he was at Georgia State. He just got signed to play at UVA. So I'm going to take her to UVA. And you know what we're going to do at UVA? I'm going to have my cousin, Juice Jones, I'm going to have him introduce her to the whole training staff. I'm going to put her on early because I'm teaching her what relationships are. I'm teaching her that, hey, you meet somebody now when you're 11 years old, and she can keep the conversation going through email. She can reach out, say how you doing out on her journey. But now in 10 years, when she's 21, you know what she's built? She's built equity in that relationship. She can make a withdrawal. You know what equity is? Anybody who doesn't know what equity is? Equity is basically the value of that you have into something, right? So if you have a house and you paid off half of the house, if the house is, you know, $1 million house, but you paid off half of that million, you have $500,000 worth of equity, meaning that you can borrow that money from the house. So if you don't have any money, but you've paid off half of that house, you can go to the bank and say, hey, look, I know I still owe you guys $500,000, but I want to borrow $200,000 against what I already paid from you guys. Does that make sense? So now relationship equity is now what you're doing is, hey, Roman, I've known you for the past 10 years. You know my character. Every time I've said I was going to do something, I've done it. And you don't have to list this off, but people, they pay attention to this, right? Like if we met and all of a sudden, every time we interacted, like I told you I was going to do something, I never did it. Like at some point, you're just going to not believe me, right? But on the flip side, what's your name? Alex. If me and Alex meet, and every time I tell Alex I'm going to do something, I just do it. Nothing spectacular, because it never has to be spectacular. It's simply just showing up. If I tell Alex, hey, I'm going to mail you a copy of a book, and boom, a week goes by, he gets a package, he's got the book. Then if I say from there, hey, Alex, I'm going to connect you with somebody I know. What are you interested in besides soccer?
Cybersecurity.
So if I say, Alex, I'm going to connect you with somebody in cybersecurity, and boom, I make that connection. Now what's happening? What are you starting to do?
Build equity in my relationships.
Yes. Equity and build trust, right? Now that trust there, that really is a real relationship. You understand that? So a lot of young people right now, you're hearing, how many people you hear about networking and you're supposed to be networking? You guys hear that a lot, right? Networking is meaningless if you don't build relationships. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm here today, and before I leave, I'm going to give everybody, I'll make sure if you want to be connected with me, you can connect with me on social. Maybe one of you will actually reach out and build a relationship with me, if any. Most of the time it doesn't happen because, again, you got to realize what is valuable. Relationships are valuable. Just knowing me today doesn't mean anything because there's no trust built, okay? So that's the first word is access, what you have access to. So I want you to think about your trainers. When you guys go to college, I'm going to give you a little cheat code on college. More than likely, the kids who work in like the sports support roles, so like the managers, the sports trainers, oftentimes those are positions that go to kids whose parents give money to universities, kids whose parents own stuff. Those are like reserved positions for like people who know somebody, right? So don't treat the training staff like crap. Their dad might be able to give you the dream job that you want when you graduate from college. Their dad may end up being a business partner for you. But if you treat them like garbage and you treat them like they're just, you know, some servant that you have, do you think they're going to want to make that type of connection for you? But you have access to them. You have access to them and you have the ability to build relationship with them. Does that make sense? All right, boom. So access. So the next thing we want to talk about, we're going to shift, we're going to go to information, right? Information is everything. As a matter of fact, who's your best friend? Who's your best friend in all of the world? Like your ace, your rider. What's her name?
Calf.
What? Speak up. Calf. Like C-A-F, calf?
K-A-I-F.
Okay, calf. And we call him calf. All right. So that's your guy, right? Okay, cool. So what is the building blocks of your relationship with him, if you think about it? It's what you know about him. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's the information that you have about him, right? You know when his birthday is? Oh, you guys are terrible. You guys are the worst. Who here knows their best friend's birthday? Okay, cool. Who here knows their best friend's most embarrassing moment? Okay. Who here knows their best friend's favorite food? Okay. Who knows when their best friend will crash out? Okay. So all that is information. In information, right, when you're in certain situations, it really is key. I'll never forget this, right? Information is dangerous at times too. I was working this job when I was in like my early 20s. It was at a call center. And one thing that I had learned is I learned that if you're ever working a job, you're at the job, and if that job, so let's say you come in, your shift starts at 9. If for whatever reason the job wants to send people home, let's say a system crashes or something, they don't need workers for they're looking for people to go home, that job has to pay you for at least 4 hours for coming in. I don't know why I knew that, but I knew that, right? So anyway, I'm at this job, and it's a call center, and the phones went down. So they start, cutting people. Like, how are we going to send, these people home? So the guy goes, he's walking down the aisle. He goes, yeah, we're going to send people home. And I was like, hey, yo, you got to pay me for 4 hours, right? He's, hey, yo, come here. Yo, he grabbed me so fast. He said, go home, get out of here. Because I had information. They did pay me for my 4 hours too. But they didn't want everybody else to have that information because the company's going to lose a whole bunch of money and not get production for it. Okay? Information is powerful. Information is everything. So we're talking about these car rides that you have, right? So you're going to different tournaments, you're riding with different families, you're riding with different people. Ear hustle. That means eavesdrop. That means listen. Listen to what they're saying. Pay attention to what they're talking about. You're going to have access to conversations that people that don't play sports, that don't end up in these type of environments, they don't have any access to, right? So now you have access to get information that not everybody gets. When you're not playing, after your game is over, if the team is lingering around, spark up conversations and see what information you can gather, right? What's your name?
Max.
So if I talk to Max, right, boom, we're talking whatever, and I find out that Max, so right now, right, like what I do with my coaching business, I have a very specific person that I'm looking for to coach, very specific. I look for kids who are really smart but hate school. Like that's why that's my target audience, right? So now, right, if I'm talking to Max, and Max brings up that he's got a brother who just literally like he left college, parents don't know what to do with him, whatever. That's information. That's information. I'm like, okay, boom. So now what I'm thinking is like, all right, well, when I leave this conversation or when I leave Max, I should have a way to get in contact with Max, right? I need that information, right? So information goes from just knowledge goes to contact information. Can I get a hold of Max for another conversation? Does that make sense? Because if I can't get a hold of Max for another conversation, can we build a relationship? We cannot. So now my focus is, okay, so before I leave the conversation, I might say, hey, Max, let me follow you on IG. Now, I don't care about following people because at the end of the day, like I'm trying to be connected. I don't care about clout. Clout is meaningless to me. Clout has not paid any of my bills ever in life, okay? But I get connected with him because I got information, but then I have his contact information. So now I may follow him and say, hey, you mentioned your brother, like, would you mind connecting me with your parents? Because I would love to have a conversation. Maybe I can help. It's all about information. When you're in these environments, what information are you picking up? When you meet people that are interesting, are you getting a way to stay in contact? If I meet somebody and I want to stay in touch with them, in my brain, if I give them my information and I don't get anything of information, I act like I never met them before. In my brain, I rarely do it. At this point in my life, because I'm so trained at doing it, I rarely do that. But like today, if I do talk to Alex and we have a good convo, but I don't get your IG or anything, in my brain, it's like we never met because I have no access to you. I can't talk to you. I have no information to get a hold of you. So information is currency in this day and age. You got to think about when you sign up for a new app, right? You go download new apps to your phone. What's the first thing they ask you for? Your email address. Yeah, they want your information, right? Some websites, they offer a free service, but you know what their product is? It's information. They sell all your email addresses and they sell all the stuff that your microphone and camera picks up because they farm all that data. So, and it's funny, one thing I always teach my kids is that whatever the big corporations are doing in practice, you also should be doing. So if big corporations think that it's really important to have people's contact information, you should do the same thing. Okay? I'm gonna challenge you guys. And this is a challenge that I don't know, there's no time limit on it, but if you don't already have 1,000 contacts in your phone, I'm gonna challenge you to try and get to 1,000 contacts as quickly as you can. It's not a lot, bro. I got like 5,000 in my phone. It's not hard. All you gotta do is just start asking people, hey, like, let's connect. I wanna stay connected. And it's easy to say it, right? It doesn't have to be weird, like, you know, like, Alex, can I have your phone number? No, you never wanna be a creep, but if you're having a great conversation, right? Bro, I wanna stay in contact, bro. What's the best way for me to reach you, bro?
My phone number.
All right, what is it?
703-947.
It's natural. It's natural, bro. You're just doing it, right? You're not thinking of, because again, information is everything. If you don't have information, you don't have anything. And because you play a sport, and I want to kind of pause for a second, right? The whole thing, right? The whole premise of this book, Get More from the Game. Sports will take from you. Sports is taking from you. You guys play at one of the highest levels of amateur soccer. You miss extracurricular activities at school. You miss different parties. You miss different dances. There's a lot of stuff you don't do because you play on this level. Does that make sense? Sports is taking from you. What are you going to take back? You got to take something back from this game. You cannot let this game take so much from you, and the only chance you have of getting anything back from it is potentially a paycheck if you make it pro. You see what I'm saying? Like, we all know the reality, right? As much as everybody wants to get paid to play soccer one day, the reality is that maybe one person in this room will. Maybe one. If we're super lucky, maybe 2 out of this room will get paid to play soccer. But make soccer pay you. Make soccer open doors for you. And it's funny, so I talk to parents, I tell them about my books. They're like, oh yeah, kids need teamwork and discipline. And I was like, no, I'm not talking about that. You're going to get that, right? Because you can't play at this level if you don't have some form of discipline. You can't play at this level if you're not willing to make the right pass. But what are you making the game give to you? See, this game owes you. How many people have gotten an injury? Bro, this is taking your health, bro. You're taking damage playing this game. But what are you going to take from it? Right? So we talked about access. We talked about information. The next thing we're going to talk about attention. Attention is currency, right? And so because you play a sport, you get the opportunity to have people's attention. So when you have people's attention, what do you do with their attention, right? So say you do oops up on some sort of CEO, somebody who is a powerful person, right? Maybe you practice what I'm telling you, right? You try this out at one of your tournaments. You're talking to a guy who maybe owns a jet charter business, right? You got his attention. What are you going to do with it? Right? Because that's the worst thing in the world. That's the worst thing in the world. To have the attention of somebody, whether they're important or whether they're someone that could help you, whatever, but to have their attention and not know what to do with it, that's gotta suck, right? So understanding that when you play sports, right, you get access to people's attention, especially like when you start to play at a collegiate level, because when you're playing this right here, this is a little bit obscure. Appreciate you. This is a little bit obscure in the sense that, like, there's not really a big allegiance to MLS Next Soccer, right? It doesn't have a huge following in terms of people that are outside of the MLS Next world. Does that make sense? But when you go to a next level, right, and you play for a school, and it's funny, that's why NIL is so powerful. NIL is so powerful because it enacts the allegiance of an alumni, right? That's funny. I didn't graduate from college, so I don't have that allegiance to like a school, but I know people, their college is their identity. Like, they could have never, ever paid attention to the college's soccer team ever in life. But if that soccer team at that school starts making a run for a national championship, they're going to get all the merch. They're going to buy a ticket. They're going to go to the game. They're going to bring their family to the game. They're going to talk about it in every conversation because what? They feel an emotional connection to that school, to that brand. Does that make sense? So as you guys move on, you guys play for schools, right? Now you have attention. You have the attention of the student population. You have the attention of the alumni population. What do you do with attention? And this is, in my opinion, one of the biggest ways that student athletes fumble NIL is because they don't truly understand what NIL is. So NIL in its purest form is there's a company that believes that you can sell their stuff. And they're paying you, and they believe that the ROI on our return on investment of them paying you $10,000 is going to net them $100,000. That is NIL in its purest form. You guys understand that? The thing that most people talk about is pay to play. Pay to play and NIL are actually two different things. Can anyone just explain how anyone know what I'm talking about when they're different? Anyone know what I'm talking about? You want to try it?
Like, the one is like you're getting paid, and the other one is like you have to pay.
No. All right. So pay to play is our university just has money and we're just going to pay you $50,000 to play soccer for us. You're getting paid to play. It's very simple, very cut and dry. NIL is a company that says, hey, we believe you're marketable. We'll pay you because you're marketable. You see the difference? Just because you're paid to play does not mean you're marketable. Make sense? But on the flip side, and this is what I feel like everybody should understand, just because you're marketable, but you're not maybe as good and you won't get paid to play, doesn't mean you can't get NIL. You understand? Did anyone not understand what I just said? If you didn't understand what I just said, raise your hand. Okay, cool. NIL means that, like, yo, I got motion on social media. People follow me. I got engagement, but maybe I'm not the best soccer player. Maybe I'm not getting the attention to like play at the highest level. Maybe I'm only going to play like Division II or Division III, and I won't get paid to play soccer. But I still got motion on social media. So now this company, they still see value because, hey, they may not be on the best team or best school, but their social media is lit and they got engagement. So we still see value in having you endorse our product and paying you in that regard. They got that? So again, right? When you have attention, it's like, okay, what can you do with attention? One of the biggest fumblers from an economic standpoint of attention in pro sports is Kawhi Leonard. You guys remember that? You guys are so young. Kawhi Leonard, he did you guys know who Kawhi Leonard is, right? He did an interview, and it was so awkward because you asking me questions, and I don't even know where you are. It was incredibly awkward. One time they asked him a question, he goes, I don't know, I guess I'm a fun guy. One of the top paid athletes paid to play, but he has no personality, he's a robot. So he's not gonna capitalize on the attention side of things. You get what I'm saying? Because he just doesn't have a personality, he's a cyborg. So anyway, understanding that when you're playing sports, you get to have attention. Now, what's crazy is even if you play rec league sports, right? You play rec, and it's funny because I know this all the time. When I'm out playing, typically, depending on where I am, I can immediately tell like 5 minutes into the game if I'm one of the top players at that pickup run, right? If I boom. And if I notice if I'm one of the top players, when the games are over, I can say whatever I want and they're going to listen to me. Because we are designed as people to pay attention to excellence. So if you go play pickup soccer And let's say you're in your career, right? And maybe you're doing some sort of sales or whatever. Like, you're done with chasing the soccer dream. You're just playing for the love of the game. If you're the best person in your men's league soccer, guess who's going to get all the attention after the game? You. Who do people want to talk to? You. This is what our culture is. We literally, America is a culture of hero worship. And it doesn't matter if it's just rec league. I watch it all the time. I literally will watch a dude score 40 in a rec league game, and then afterwards, everybody's crowded around him. And he could tell them anything at that point because he's got their attention. Okay? All right. The last thing and the last principle. No, I got 2 more things I want to go. How much time I got? 5 minutes? All right, cool. I'm going to run through 2 things, and then I want to take some questions. Prestige, right? So prestige and attention are a little different. Prestige is elevated, right? Now, so I can have your attention just because I'm talking to you, right? But having prestige is like, okay, so because you have on this jersey, the St. James Football Academy, right? MLS Next, there's a level of prestige that comes with that, right? And understanding that, like, hey, like and it's funny, I was at church this past Sunday. So I have a St. James Academy shirt because it's a really cool shirt. It's like a, what do you call it? It's one of those Nike shirts. You guys know the gray ones? You guys probably seen them before in the store. So I got one. Bro, I'm at church and a guy comes up and he goes, oh, you coach at the St. James? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm just a member. But just because I had the name on my chest, there was a level of prestige that came with it. You understand what I'm saying? Prestige opens doors. Prestige will get you into places that you're not supposed to get into. Again, there are certain colleges that you go to. If you say Harvard, people pay attention just because you said Harvard. You say things like, if you're in the medical community, you say Johns Hopkins, it raises eyebrows. They pay attention. So when you start talking, it's funny because this stuff works so amazing retroactively. Like once you're done playing sports and you start to tell people like, oh yeah, where'd you go to school? Well, I went to, Stanford, play soccer there. Oh my gosh, people pay attention to you because you have to realize if you play a varsity sport, let's not even talk about college. I want you guys to realize something. If you play a varsity sport, you guys realize that you're better than most of the people on the planet at that sport. Like when you look at the big picture, like if you played a varsity sport, you're literally better than billions of people on the planet at that sport. That's kind of crazy to think about, right? Now, you guys play academy level. That's a whole different level. Then if you play in college, that's another level. So because of the dedication, the sacrifice, and the skill you've developed, it comes with a level of prestige that once you understand it, you can leverage that for you and for others. Right now, if you guys decided on a cause, maybe there was a cause that's super important to you. Maybe there's near the school, right? I'm just being random. But maybe you guys found out there's like a women's shelter that's close to your school, right? If you guys collectively decided that you guys wanted to give that shelter a makeover and completely have it gutted and redo the inside, you have enough prestige and power to do that if you chose to do it. Like you have a voice, especially now as a team, you come together. This is all stuff you have because of these sports. But most people, you don't realize that you have it. You don't realize until you get to be like in your 20s and then you start to put it together because Coach H, right? You start to put it together later in life, right? But imagine if you knew what you knew at 18, if you knew what you know now at 18, 19. Imagine if you heard something like this at 18 or 19 and you started to implement it or put it into play. See? Delusion. Let me stop. But no, this is what you have access to because you play these sports. These sports, they cost you. You put your body on the line every time. Every time you go out and you play this sport, there's a chance you could break your leg. And I wish that on nobody. But that's the risk you take, right? So get everything that you can in return from the sport. All right? Last thought, and now I'm open up for a few questions, is the business of you. At the end of the day, the way you carry yourself, You can have all of this knowledge, you can know this stuff or whatever, but if you're just a schmuck, right? If you're somebody who's a clown, if you're someone who has low integrity, if you're somebody who, just, you can't talk without using profanity, you will limit yourself. If your personal brand is they're a hothead, they don't care, they don't pay attention, they're selfish, word travels very fast. Word travels very fast. We got a kid right now from my hometown in Rochester. He's top 5 in the country for his class in basketball. It's not even him. His dad is making it tough for him because his dad just ran on the court. And this is documented. This is not even hearsay. His dad ran on the court. He's at Oak Hill. His dad runs on the court, causes a scene. They're like, we're all set. We don't want you to go anymore. Because at the end of the day, like there's another 6'9" kid out there. There's always another. You see what I'm saying? So make sure that the business of you pay attention to that. You keep your business in check. Your brand, what your personal brand is, make it a brand of integrity. Make it a brand of putting others first. Make it a brand of discipline. Make it a brand that will make you attractive, not just for business and for money, but for people in general. Because the more you go through life, it's funny, there's some people that are amazingly talented that I know personally that I would never bring in certain rooms with me, that I would never do business with because they just lack integrity. It doesn't matter what their talent does. I can't risk you being associated with me. Does that make sense? That's crazy, right? And you never want that to be said about you. All right, I got a few seconds. Anybody got any questions, any comments, anything you just want to, anything that you liked about what you heard today? It doesn't matter. Questions, comments, all of that stuff. Anything? Don't make it awkward. You trying to think? Somebody share what was your best part about the talk today? Anybody got something good that they picked up today? What you got? Listen, go YouTube that. That's hilarious. Somebody had their hand up in the back. Somebody raise their hand. I thought I saw a hand go up. All right, if you guys don't have anything, we can just hang out. I mean, I'll be up here. I'm Best Bet Dan on all social medias, so feel free to follow me, and I follow back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out there for clout, but yeah, I'll be around if you guys have any questions. Thank you guys. Appreciate. Oh, what's up? Okay, all good. I appreciate y'all. Thanks y'all for coming out today.
Thanks, guys. All right, you guys gotta go find Christian. You guys have a gym session. Let's go.